Welcome to Allocadia's self-serve training series, developed to assist you in setting up your company's Allocadia instance. Allocadia was created by marketers for marketers. You can structure the Allocadia marketing budgeting software based on your organizational needs. My name is Jennifer, and I will be your host for this series. Let's get started with video 2 of 7, Configure Your Settings. In this video, we will cover how to plan your columns and fields, how to create and manage columns, how to create and edit views, how to create and edit tags, how to adjust account preferences, how to set your currencies, the purpose of custom settings, what connectors are, and how to set up your connectors. Currently, your company tracks details relating to their marketing spend via an Excel spreadsheet, a proprietary software, or other software. If you look at the spreadsheet or software, you can see the details that are currently being tracked on your marketing spend. If your company previously used Excel for their budgeting and planning, then the column headers are the types of details being tracked. Using one of your previous budgets, make a list of detail types, also known as columns. For example, using this image, the list would include target type, project number, corporate objective, target audience, marketing objective, region, campaign type, FY target, plan, etc. Once you've completed the columns list, write a second list of business questions that your company would like answered relating to your marketing spend. Review the list of business questions and establish what types of information are required to answer them. For example, if the question is, how much do we plan to spend on brand awareness? We need to track planned spend, aka plan, and brand awareness. On our spreadsheet, brand awareness was a type of marketing objective. Write any additional columns on your columns list that are required to answer the questions on your questions list. Next, think about your team's budgeting workflow. A top-down workflow is the allocation given to marketing by finance. In Allocadia, we call this the finance target. If finance allocates one overall amount for the entire marketing department for the year, it would be considered a fiscal year finance target. Many companies also have cascading levels of target allocation across their budget hierarchy. For example, the finance team allocates $1 million to the marketing department. Marketing allocates $500,000 to the Americas region. The Americas region team lead splits the $500,000 allocation between the cost centers within the region. In this situation, the highest level target will be the finance target type, and the secondary levels will be the cost center target type. The target can either be tracked by fiscal year, quarterly, or monthly. A bottoms-up workflow is when the marketing organization is building a bottoms-up plan to meet the above allocated targets. The plan will need to be reflected in fiscal year, quarterly, or monthly columns. As an Allocadia best practice, we recommend using the plan column at the beginning of the year to plan the annual budget. At the end of the planning phase, the values are then copied into the forecast column, and the plan column is locked to prevent editing. Locking the plan column creates a snapshot of the original plan, which can later be referenced to report how much was spent compared to how much was planned. This will assist you in understanding why you may be over or under your original plan, as well as allow you to better allocate your funds in the next year. Ongoing forecasting is done in the forecast columns. Forecast columns are columns that are constantly changing and being updated with the most recent status of your spend. Spend can be tagged with forecast tags in order to show this status. We recommend utilizing the forecast column monthly to track the activities and spend on an ongoing basis once the plan columns have been locked. Many marketing departments report on their activities and spend on a quarterly basis, but have to provide the finance department with a monthly view for accruals. In this situation, we would have monthly forecast inputs and quarterly forecast calculated columns. When does finance close their books? Typically, you want to track your forecast to align with finance. For example, if finance closes their books quarterly, you track your forecast quarterly. But if they close their books monthly, you track your forecast monthly. If finance closes their books monthly, we recommend having monthly forecast and monthly actuals to assist with the accruals process. The final step in the workflow is tracking actuals. Actuals come into the actuals panel, and the sum is displayed in the actuals columns. Actuals come in based on the date that the actual is recognized in the finance system. All actuals are tracked monthly, but can be summarized in calculated quarterly or fiscal year columns. Please note that often finance will use the inputs in the forecast column that are tagged as occurred to identify when an expense should be recognized and an accrual created. These spend status insights are incredibly important to finance and are why we recommend having a member of the finance team be a viewer user within Allocadia. Now that we have a comprehensive list of spend details, aka columns, that we would like to track within Allocadia, we need to establish where in Allocadia we would like to track these details. The roll-up panel. These are high-level details related to a folder, subfolder, or budget. For example, this might be fiscal year target or budget owner. The budget grid. These are input or calculation fields that you would like to see on your budget grid. Also, if you would like to temporarily hide a column, you would put it on the grid. The details panel. These are detailed attributes relating to your spend. They are also known as corporate strategic objectives or metadata. For example, the details panel would contain the GL code, marketing objective, target audience, and project number. The invoice panel are for details that you would like brought in with your actuals import, or if you are adding your actuals manually, these are attributes that you would like to track with regards to your actuals. The PO panel. These are the details that you would like to input or import into Allocadia relating to your purchase orders. It's time to create the columns and fields within Allocadia. There are 4 steps in creating and managing columns and fields. Step 1. Add the custom columns and fields. Step 2. Define which fields on the details panel are required. Step 3. Add help text to assist your end users. And Step 4. Lock and unlock columns to prevent editing of input data. We recommend locking the plan column at the end of the planning process to create a snapshot of your planned spend at the beginning of the period. Let's head into the application. Log into your Allocadia account. If you don't have an account, go to allocadia.com to sign up. On the Home tab, you will see your company's budget hierarchy. The budget hierarchy is an organizational structure of folders, subfolders, and budgets. If you have not set up your budget hierarchy, watch the self-serve training series, Video 1, Building the Hierarchy, at support.allocadia.com. In the Edit Settings column, you will see 2 different types of hyperlinks, Master Settings and Custom Settings. The Master Settings affect the entire roll-up. Custom Settings only affect the subfolders and budgets inside. Click on the Master Settings hyperlink. It will open up the Settings area. You will notice a line of hyperlinks below your roll-up folder title. The columns heading will be black to show that it is selected. Take the list of details that you would like tracked in Allocadia and cross-reference your list with the columns and fields that are already existing in Allocadia. Use the scroll bar to scroll down through the list of default columns and fields in Allocadia. Cross items off of your list if they are in the column name list in Allocadia. Now that we have a list of columns and fields that are not in Allocadia, we need to create them. Step 1. Type the name in the Add Column text box. Step 2. Select a field type from the Type drop-down menu. Currency with tags is an input field used to track the state of spend. For example, forecast, committed, and occurred. Currency no tags is an input field for currency like the plan input column. Calculation formula is a calculated column of other columns. You cannot enter data into this column. Drop-down list should be utilized to display a preset list of options. We do not recommend putting the drop-down list columns on the budget grid. Multi-select list. Similar to the drop-down list, with the ability to select multiple options in the list. The multi-select list should be used on the details panel. Number or metric is a non-currency input column, such as account GL code or project ID. Text or reference number is a standard text input column. Date is a calendar date field. Dates cannot be manually input but must be selected from the calendar. Invoice is only for use with the invoice panel. Non-calculating currency is an input currency column that does not roll up to the total. Typically, this field is located on the roll-up panel. For example, the fiscal year target on the roll-up panel is a non-calculating currency field. In our example, we will select Drop-down List from the Type drop-down menu. Step 3. Single-click plus Add Column. You will notice that the field is added to the top of the column's name list. We chose a drop-down list as our column type. Now, we need to add options to the list. In the Specific to Type column, in line with the new column we added, click the green Edit Hyperlink. The drop-down options pop-up window will open. There are two ways to add choices via the drop-down options window. Number 1. Type the name of the choice in the Add drop-down choice text box. Single-click the plus Add button. Number 2. Import a list of choices. Make a list of choices. You can do this in a spreadsheet or text document. Copy the list. On the drop-down options pop-up window, click the Import Choices hyperlink. The Import Choices pop-up window will open. Secondary click in the text box. Select Paste. Your list of choices is now in the text box. Review the list to ensure that they have copied over properly. Once you are satisfied, click the Import Choices button. To edit an option on the drop-down options pop-up window, click the Edit Hyperlink next to the option. Click into the text box, edit the name, and click the green Save Hyperlink. To delete an option from the drop-down options pop-up list, click the red Del Hyperlink. Once you are satisfied by the list, click Save and Close. If you click the X or Cancel, your changes will not be saved. You will notice on the right-hand side of the drop-down list that there is an Editable by Editors checkbox. If this checkbox is selected, editors are able to edit the list of drop-down options. If you prefer that only owners and administrators be allowed to edit the list, you will want to deselect the checkbox. How do you ensure that your marketing end users fill in the fields on the Details panel? Allocadia enables you to set the fields on your Details panel as required field, so that your marketing end users can't close the Details panel without completing the required fields. To make a field required, select the checkbox in the Required column for the appropriate Details panel field. Provide guidance to your marketing team by adding help text to the columns. This will allow you to establish what information you would like them to add. At the end of the planning process, we recommend you lock your plan columns to prevent editing so that there is a snapshot of the original plan. Using this data, you can report on your original plan versus the actual spend. Find the column that you would like to lock. We recommend only locking fields on the budget grid. Select the checkbox in the Lock column. When you look at the column in the budget grid, you will notice that there is now a lock icon.